I mean, there's an obvious one to grab.
There is an obvious one to grab. All right, let's see if
Why not?
Let's see if I pick the obvious one.
If you want to.
Welcome to the Honest Jam Songwriting Podcast, where two friends lull each other to write a new song each week based on a unique prompt. I'm Eyal,
I'm Walker.
and our theme this week is lullabies.
I'm glad you went for the obvious connection grab there. I was lulled during the week.
Oh yeah? Lulled by the forces of evil.
Lulled by my own meandering melodies.
Oh yeah. So I guess we thought we'd start off this week. Lullaby is a little more specific than the past couple weeks have been, and we thought we'd start by talking about what a lullaby actually is. And for that, we used the internet.
What does the internet say on the topic of the day? And if it's wrong, you can let us know by using the internet too.
So, what's a lullaby?
So I learned a lot from Wikipedia last night, late last night. Not late last week when I had an entire week to write a lullaby, but last night I learned a lot and ended up having to rewrite my song.
Oh damn. Twice the work.
Or just part of the journey getting
Oh,
there. You know?
Good
really.
good mindset. Nice reframe.
Before looking it up, I assumed a lullaby was just a song used to get infants to fall asleep, which is a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about lyrics being involved and the benefits of it, both for the young parents and the infants, and developing skills and passing down cultural knowledge,
Right.
developing communication skills. It's got a regulatory effect on infants' behavior. And
exists like cross-culturally, right? It's like
Right,
something that has
yeah.
evolved all over the world, different cultures independent of one another. They all have similar characteristics to each other.
Right. Did I mention I stayed up till 2:30 writing a lullaby?
Maybe that's the crux of the matter, and we shouldn't even talk about what a lullaby is.
Well, originally, when you said that was the theme, I was planning to set up mics.
Yeah.
I was going to make an instrumental vibraphone piece because I wasn't thinking about the lyrical aspect of most lullabies.
Interesting.
And I wanted to set up the mics and then go to sleep, set my alarm up for some ridiculous time in the middle of the night, come down here and in a complete stupor, record something. And it just, my week didn't work out that way. I got really busy and it didn't happen. So I did write a vibraphone piece, but it was before I read about lullabies and what makes the construct of a lullaby, what qualities they possess. And they tend to have long breaks in the melodic phrases so that infants are able to take it in more easily. You've got to give them a moment to take it in. And my first piece I worked on was just relentless. The melody was just ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. I see.
It wasn't right. Did you know many Christmas carols were designed as lullabies for baby Jesus? Silent Night is just a perfect example of a lullaby, even in terms of the repetitive nature and breaks at the end of the phrases.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got that one from Wikipedia. In the 1920s, poet Federico Garcia Lorca studied Spanish lullabies and noted the poetic character and depth of sadness of many of them. Lorca's theory was that one of the lullaby's functions was to help a mother vocalize her worries and concerns. So it's a form of therapy for the mother, not just for the infant to fall asleep.
Because that relates a lot to one thing that I found, which was this like Huffington Post article.
I can't imagine what this is going to be.
There's a couple different, well, it's just lullabies, but they're like noting that there's a lot of dark and disturbing lyrical content in lullabies all over the world. Like it's a really consistent thing, along with like the characteristics that you were talking about before. So there's like, that makes sense with what Lorca is saying. So there's the classic one, Rockabye Baby. You got Rockabye Baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all, And then there's an Icelandic one. The translation is, my little friend, I lull to rest, but outside, a face waits at the window.
That's terrifying.
Here's one that's a Haitian.
So is a tree falling death, but
yeah,
the image of something outside the window.
Well, here's one that's in warmer weather, but equally terrifying. This is a Haitian lullaby. It goes, sleep, little one. If you don't sleep, the crab will eat you.
Oh. I could see that that's effective.
So there's a interesting... So
they're passing down the cultural knowledge that something terrifying is out there and it's going to get you.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Just program that in, right. Death ultimately comes
in
for
every
us all.
culture.
There's I didn't have that in my lullaby, but there seems to be a consistent, like, insidious nature to these things, like cross-culturally, which is interesting. One other thing that I found scouring the internet for lullaby content is I typed it into Reddit, and which
oh boy,
dangerous, but came across this thing, the lullaby method, that was made by this guy named Neville Goddard, who was somebody that I kind of expected to have like run across in my life at some point, because I'm into like weird occult shit, but I never heard of the guy. And it's essentially like the same as, it seems very similar to like this new age idea of like manifesting your reality kind of through intention, that kind of thing. But from everything that I read, he wouldn't call himself part of any movement. But basically what the lullaby method is, for anything that you want to make happen in the world for yourself, you visualize yourself in that state and connect with what it feels like to be that person doing that thing, and you do this as you're falling asleep.
Okay, so just visualization,
but like feeling in your body how it feels as if you were that. Okay,
you're just trying it on.
Yeah, but believing fully that you're there, and then you're supposed to say basically an affirmation in the moment that reflects that feeling, and kind of like sing a lullaby of that affirmation. So it could be like, thank you or whatever, and then you just like sing that over and over again while feeling that thing as you fall asleep. And I guess the point is to, I don't know, connect with whatever they believe the manifestation of energy of the universe is, or whatever that shit is.
Sing your own lullaby. I mean, I've heard worse plans.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, so try it out, see how it goes, let us know. Neville Goddard.
That's what the internet said.
But there's something else that exists other than the internet. We call that thing the real world. And sometimes we'll go out and find things in the real world in a section called Out in the Real World.
Out in the real world. Out in the real world. Out in the real world. Out in the real world.
So you, in order to learn more about lullabies, you went out and talked to some people in public and stuck a phone in their face, right?
I did. I talked to Laura Frizzell and Tom Tucker, who are the parents of Ethan and Sam,
bandmates
who I play with. Yeah. And you do too.
Yeah.
And Laura is a music teacher, so I knew she'd have some interesting things to say about lullabies. Here she is.
I would say the universal children's call or song usually is about 2 or 3 notes. That little falling third, la, 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 that kind of thing. Or,
yeah.
And I remember that from an early age, just those beautiful little songs that have sort of stood the test of time. And they're simple and they're beautiful. They become more raucous and a little bit nutty if, in fact, said to children, don't go to sleep, and then you start adding other lyrics. But basically, that folk melody or that tune that's been around for a long time, that underpinning is there, and then it frees you to create new lyrics, funny lyrics that entertain you while you're trying to get this kiddo to go to bed.
So were Ethan and Sam hard to get to bed? Were they rambunctious boys?
Let's see, good question. Sam learned how to climb out of his crib pretty early, and Sam had a lot of requests, and Ethan did too, of Tom, because Tom would also bring his guitar up and play music, and so not only was he singing, but just that instrumental quality.
Folk songs with lots of verses.
Oh, good. To get
Repetition.
them, they'll fall asleep on the 7th verse.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, that was a beautiful aspect of what Tom did.
And they're very musical fellows now, and I'm glad for it. So thank you, Tom and Laura.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
So wholesome. Did you talk to anybody else?
I caught up with Aaron Hartman, the bass player of Old Time Religion, who has 2 children, so I thought he'd be a good person to ask if he had employed any particular lullabies with his kids. And here's what he had to say.
We never really played recorded music to get the kids to fall asleep, but we sing to them every night, and it's usually one song each, and then trying to get out of their room before they start asking questions and stuff. But the song that Sylvia, my now 7-year-old, has been basically demanding for almost 3 years is the song Rubies, which was written by my wife Alicia for our band Girls in Trouble, which we do a kind of a shorter version of it for bedtime. But yeah, Sylvia basically requires us to sing Rubies every single night.
More than rubies, more than pearls, the one I love. With purple silk.
Have you ever written a lullaby for somebody else? Have you ever written a lullaby before in general?
I've never written a lullaby until this week.
Oh. Should we listen to some lullabies?
Let's do.
Okay.
What did you make this week? What did you make this week? Tell us all about it, 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 tell us all about it.
So how was your experience writing a lullaby this week?
I had a really nice time. I actually got it done early in the week and wrote something really simple, and then just tinkered around with it more and more, but it just needed to be simple, so I just kept it simple. I thought about there's a baby that I'm gonna get to know pretty soon, and I thought about,
are you having a child?
no, but I thought about there's a utility to lullabies, and I was like, but I don't think I know of any lullabies that are specifically designed for when somebody wakes up in the middle of the night and needs to get back to sleep.
Hey, that's a new market right there.
That's what I'm going for. The market. So that's what I was thinking about when I wrote this lullaby called Where Will We Go Tonight?
Hopefully back to bed.
Breathe in, breathe out. Take a moment in the dark. Close your flow coming from your heart. Go back to sleep, little darling. I'll be here sleeping by your side. We'll dream a dream together tonight, tonight. Floating on the airwaves, out at the coast, sun-drenched ocean beaches down below. Anywhere we can imagine, we can go, we can go. Back and sleep, little darling. We'll be here sleeping side by side. We'll dream a dream together tonight, tonight. Where will we go tonight, tonight? Where will we go tonight, tonight? Where will we go tonight, tonight? Where will we go tonight, tonight?
I was mesmerized.
Yeah. I like that song. That one might be a keeper. We'll see.
On the part where you said close your eyes, I automatically did close my eyes. I mean, I'm a good crowd for this song because as I mentioned,
Oh yeah, you're ready for
I got
sleep.
tired. And I predicted this in the first episode. I knew once, my regular gig started again and schedule got packed with rehearsals that I would be staying up all hours of the night finishing these.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Beautiful.
Thanks. I took like I started to think of as this like Darwinian kind of style of lyric writing to this. In that sometimes I'll just choose to write a song, but I won't write the lyrics down ever, and I'll just like sing it over and over again and just let basically the idea is like the fittest lyrics are the ones that will survive, which is like flawed thinking because oftentimes it's just like I just forgot. But it's also like, well, I won't forget if it's good enough. So that was kind of the approach that I took. So the whole song, I just kind of like played it over and over again and tried different words out. And over time, it just evolved into what it evolved into. It actually started as I was a little conflicted because I was, I guess, a little bit maybe subconsciously or consciously, I'm not sure, aware that lullabies are typically 3/4. But I came up with that kind of guitar riff, and it is like really mesmerizing, like you're saying, like it just feels like really circular and just kind of like lulls you. But for some reason I kind of resisted that, and so I tried some kind of 3/4 stuff, and I also tried this little like more bossa version of it. Which is cool, but
That one worked on me too.
yeah. Maybe you just want to go to sleep right now. But yeah, eventually just came back to that kind of like circular, just like, yeah, mesmeric kind of thing. And then another interesting thing is, or it was interesting for me, I knew I wanted to use this guitar pedal that I have that is like this reverb delay crazy thing. But I'm obsessed with it right now, and I just wanted to like give a little texture to all of it. But I didn't have my guitar that has a output was getting worked on this week, so I had to figure out a new skill, how to take an audio track and like route it through outboard gear and record that. So that was fun to like learn a new thing that I never needed to do it. So yeah, it was nice to like learn a different thing. And then I had like, it was just a different experience than playing it through like if I had been playing the guitar through the pedal, I wouldn't have been able to like manipulate the pedal in real time like I was when I was able to just like take a recorded track and then route it through the outboard gear.
Get modular.
Yeah, so that was fun new skill. And overall just the nice, it just like didn't really feel like it needed anything other than the simplicity of it. And in fact, at some point, the like, if I added things, it was like, I was thinking the whole time, like, this is supposed to put somebody to sleep, you know, like the performance has to be like a certain way so that it like doesn't wake the person up, you know?
Sure.
And so sometimes like introducing like any elements that I introduced,
there's no disco breakdown.
No, or they were just everything. Everything was just like too interesting. You know, you're trying like not to be interesting in a certain way. I feel like, right?
True.
Isn't that what it is? Or something? I don't know. Like you don't want the person to get to the end of the song. Yeah, so that's what I made. You want to get into yours?
Yes, mine, you'll see on our lyric page, has no title because I just finished it before we started recording.
Yeah.
Didn't have time to get a title. So let's think of one for it by the end of the show.
Okay.
We can just put this one in the can.
Do you want to say anything about it other than that before we...
Yeah, let's listen to the early version first.
Oh, okay.
This time. So as I vaguely, absent-mindedly thought about what a lullaby is, I thought it was something mesmerizing and repetitive, and that's about all I took. And I wrote a piece on the vibes, but it had too much harmonic interest. You know, the chords changed a lot. It was relentless. There was no break. It's just, you know, I learned so much from Wikipedia to make my song better. So
you want to give us the first, this is before you were changed by Wikipedia.
Before I saw the light. And it's pretty, but it's kind of just slogging along there.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it.
There's no breaks, though. It's just marches on through.
I see what you mean by relentless.
Yeah, it's a little mesmerizing. It's kind of pretty, but... But I wanted to write, you know, a real lullaby, a useful one with lyrics. So I ended up changing the key and the time signature, and now there's no vibraphone, so it made a few changes. I ended up just doing keyboard, bass, and vocals.
Turn off the TV, whose politics rile up. You can be done now, so let the list pile up. That's for tomorrow. Tonight the sorrows have all gone away. You worried enough for the day. Dim down the screen light and do try your best to quiet the voices inside who arrest you. That's for tomorrow. Tonight your burdens have all gone to sleep. You worried enough for the weak. Let eyes unfocus and untense your shoulders. Expand the confines of all your box holders. Come back tomorrow. The waters wash it all free and clear. You worried enough for the year. As you cross over and into the dreamland, know that the torch you've protected in your hand stands endlessly burning and guiding us to follow the light. We've worried enough for a life.
I love that.
Thanks.
You hit the like solemn kind of vibe.
Right. I mean, basically, life is pain, and we will be in the sweet embrace of death.
Don't we know it? I really love though how you also thinking about it and we've been talking about it. Like one of the really fundamental elements of it is that it involves a voice singing it, and so having like something really like singable that you like to sing. I feel like that's a lot of where lullabies come from. Is it's like it's also the joy of the person singing the lullaby like transferring into the body of the other person, you know? So it has to be something that kind of like feels right and good for you to be singing. And I love the simplicity of this, just like the constant kind of like repeating the same thing over and over again melodically. Yeah,
Didn't feel right to add a bridge.
Right. It gets too interesting.
Yeah, my only regret was not adding vibes to it. Just ran out of time. I might do that.
That's just the way it is.
And then I'll sneak it back in post.
Oh,
although then it won't make sense when I say I didn't get to do the vibes. Ding! There they are. Magic.
Just gaslight the audience.
But I would like to add vibes.
So you took the original bass line that you wrote?
Took elements from the melody and the bass line.
The same tone from the original.
Right. The patch on the keyboard. The ascending motion of the melody. And then late last night, I just tried to add singing. Well, I actually started the lyrics on the bus ride home from my gig.
Yeah.
And it's directed toward adults.
Yeah. There's something really satisfying about coming up with a like lyrical structure and really like following the thread of that.
Right.
Because sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it, and then it just like unlocks itself for you kind of.
I like that. Yeah, just the plug it in thing. Yeah, you've worried enough for the day, then enough for the week, for the year, for a life. At one point I tried to rhyme Twitter in there, and it just felt very wrong.
Right. I mean, ultimately, I feel like I want my lullabies to be timeless, right?
My melody is so jaunty, I didn't want to be too jokey with it. When you said lullaby last week, my first thought was, oh, easy week. I'll just write a little instrumental ditty. I'll just riff it, and it'll just be easy. And
that's always the way it is.
Yeah.
As soon as you think you got it, you don't got it.
I didn't take it seriously enough. And last night, if I'm going to write a lullaby, I really wanted to be useful in that way.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, next week.
What are we going to do? Oh, no, it's my turn to choose.
Your turn to choose.
Oh, boy. I wish we had live call-ins. So lullaby was fun. Let's stay on that train for a little while.
Okay. I'm game.
With like a format of a song.
Yeah.
And let's do an ode.
Oh. Ode.
What am I going to appreciate this week?
An ode. Oh, this could go so many different directions, I feel like. What are you going to do an ode to? Or what if in the middle of the night on Thursday night you do a Wikipedia search and you discover an ode is not what you think?
I'm going to do my research early. Next week, I'm going to find out.
An ode.
Set my parameters.
Oh, yeah. This could go a lot of different ways.
All right. Well, odes, look them up.
Odes, look them up. Share your odes with us. You can share them on our Facebook group or email us at honestjamspodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Happy ode writing.
Happy ode writing. We can bang on pots and pans.
And still kick out some honest jams.
Honest Jams Podcast is written, recorded, and produced by Eyal Alvis and A. Walker Spring, and edited by me. Special thanks to Victor Nash at Destination Universe for mixing our theme. Special thanks to Oogie. And thank you for listening. We can't wait to hear what you make.